So the NBA has had enough about players lying about their height and their age, and honestly, it's about time. At one point, I just completely stopped caring about the marked and the listed heights in the NBA. There was this really good site I used called Draft Express, which shows you players' pre-draft heights. But unfortunately, that site died and the owners moved on to better things. But NBADraft.net picked up the slack. I use this as kind of my go-to when determining a player's height. They list the height with shoes off and they list the height with shoes on. So me personally, myself, I am 6'10" with shoes off. If I put shoes on, I'm closer to 7 foot. Hey, I might actually be 7 foot. By the NBA standards, they might mark me as 7'1" with shoes on. At least to my knowledge, the NBA has always listed players with shoes on. Honestly though, colleges are pretty bad at buffing up heights too. So I think this is actually going to be really good for the NBA. But before we get into that, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, guys. You won't want to miss another GETLIKECOOP video, and that's facts. This is going to be such a fun event in the NBA. The NBA playing the exposer for players' heights and ages. We've seen guys like Buddy Hield not necessarily lie about their age, but just not clarify the truth. Buddy, I guess, finally had enough, and he says that he's a year older than he's been listed by the NBA. Buddy was the 6th overall pick in the 2016 draft. Everybody thought Buddy was 22. Buddy was an absolute flamethrower in college. He could take over the game with the best of them. He was a marksman from deep. He could get to his spot and get his shot at any time. And Buddy's story only makes his success even sweeter. But of course, Buddy was actually 23 when he got drafted, not 22. And Buddy came out and said, that's their fault, not my fault. Hill said of the NBA's inaccurate listing of his age. The first time I saw it on Wikipedia, my mom said, why did they have your age wrong? Buddy said, I have no idea. Buddy said that he gave the right age to the Kings when he was traded. And he said his age has been right on his passport all along. Which brings me to a good point of where's the NBA even getting its ages from? We knew the system was flawed. We knew the system was bad, but are we talking Wikipedia bad here? People have also questioned the age of Thon Maker, Yee, Hakeem Olajuwon, Serge Ibaka, and there's a lot of other players. I think even Ersan Ilyasova has had his age questioned. So questioning age in the NBA is definitely nothing new. There are a lot of people that now think Anthony Davis is 7 foot. And honestly, I couldn't tell you, but at least Anthony Davis' pre-draft height with shoes was 6'10", so there's the chance that he could have grown. I mean, after all, we've seen players grow in the NBA before, like Paul George. Supposedly, Paul George has grown 2 inches since being in the league. He went from 6'7" or 6'8" to 6'9" or 6'10". At one point, I'm pretty sure I saw fans assuming George was 6'11", and I honestly could not tell you guys his height in the least. He looks exactly the same to me since he first started playing basketball in the NBA. Does anybody else remember that time that Ben Simmons was supposed to be 7 foot and Twitter really ran with it? This one guy on Twitter actually said, can confirm, Ben Simmons is just under 7 foot. He also said at 20 years old, very possible he'll be at or slightly above 7 foot by next season. I don't even want to imagine the unfairness of a 7 foot Ben Simmons that has a decent jump shot. We could be looking at one of the most dominant players of all time. But of course, perhaps Ben Simmons is already 7 foot or closer to 7 foot than I know. His current listed height is 6'10". Also, we have Kevin Durant, who might be the only person that knows Kevin Durant's true height. I just know that somebody in this picture is lying. I don't know who, but somebody in this picture is definitely lying. I want to know in the comments who you guys think it is. At the current state of the NBA, I'm just going to say all 3 are lying. I can't trust any of them. We're going to see players like JJ Barea, Chris Paul, and Trae Young all lose inches on their height. Though it already seems that Dirk knows JJ Barea has some inches coming off of his height. When I was a 6'1" freshman in high school, I met Chris Paul. And I had Chris Paul by like 3 inches already at that time. Chris Paul was a really cool dude though. One of my favorite players. So Mark Stein reported NBA teams were notified this week that they must certify and submit precise height and age for every player within the first week of training camp. League sources tell NYT Sports. Imagine if KD is actually 7'1". Sometimes I feel that we actually sleep on how amazingly talented Kevin Durant is at basketball, given his height, athleticism, speed, and everything that he has developed into becoming. one of the most talented shooters and scorers in league history at almost 7 foot. It will also be interesting to find out the true accuracy of heights like Joel Embiid, Taco Fall, Kristaps Porzingis, just some of the other taller players in the league. With that being said, let me know in the comments who you guys think is lying about their height, or maybe the NBA just has it flat out wrong. Be sure to subscribe, guys. More dope content on the way. And oh yeah, maybe Kevin Durant wasn't lying about his height after all. I'm GETLIKECOOP, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm out.